And off to the Wooden Boat Festival in Port Townsend, Washington. Super excited, never been to the town at all. This is the big event, and we're taking the Coho. Aren't we, boys? Hello there, and welcome to Travels with Geordie. My name is Peter, and this good-looking fellow here is Geordie, and we live together on a classic wooden motor cruiser in Victoria, British Columbia, all the while fixing it up for some pretty extensive cruising. If that's the sort of thing you might be interested in, why don't you consider sticking around and subscribing? We'd love to have you. Right, Pop, let's go. Yes, puppy boy. Well, hey there, if you'd like your very own Travels with Geordie t-shirt, just stick around to the end of the episode and we'll show you how you can win one. And we're taking the last sailing out of Victoria on the Coho. I just love this boat, running over to Washington State and Port Angeles. Beautiful Victoria Harbour. And off we go. There was a time that this harbour would be full of big liners, like a lot of big ships, passenger ships that came in. In fact, the Coho used to stop over there. It must have been just amazing to see that. So we're going to back out all the way over there by that big mega yacht, and then scoot out past basically the marina where I live. Have I ever mentioned I love ferries and prop wash? Okay, here comes the best part. Victoria's new mega international marina. Been open about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I'm not even sure those boats are actually permanent boats here. It just hasn't been a hit. So if you have a mega yacht and want to keep it in Victoria, there's room. Our boys. Hello everybody, boys. How you doing? Geordie boy. Well, I tell you, I came for the boat show, but Port Townsend is an amazing little town. I think I knew it had a historic downtown center, but there's more big stone buildings that look like banks in this town. I'll find out some history. Anyway, morning coffee. What do you say, Geordie? Time for coffee? Down on the docks, finally, at the Port Townsend Wooden Boat Festival. Look at all this space on the dock. We could have brought Zephyrus. That's what he was. All right. Now this is the smallest tri-cabin monk I have ever seen. Sunshine at 26 feet. This is 4 feet shorter than Lueda. Beautiful. didn't notice that before. That is very similar to MV Geordie. Maybe a 40 footer, maybe a 42. I'm gonna have to go and have a look. But for those of you who remember, that curve at the back of the wheelhouse cabin side is something I'm looking to put onto MV Geordie because I think it had it once. Gotta go aboard that boat. Aye. Very interesting. This is a new boat. Okay, this is going to be fun. We're going to do a demonstration of an old school Hardhat diving, like a diving bell. Apparently these were last used in the recovery of some of the vessels at Pearl Harbor. Anyway, we're just going to go up and they're going to show us how they set this up.
Weighs about 58 pounds. When we're all said and done, before he goes in the water, we're going to throw an 80-pound belt on top of him. The ankle weights right now about 10 pounds each. Typically in the Navy, like in that picture over there, that diver is dressed out with regular naval lead boots. Those are about 25, 30 pounds each. So roughly, you got 170 something pounds, just say round numbers, 180 pounds worth of heavy metal on you before he even gets in the water. But what's nice is for the divers, once you get the hat on them, typically if you're on a salvage boat or a lay barge or a derrick barge or a vessel, the last thing that goes on his head is the hat, of course, and it's not a time to linger on deck. It's time to put the hat on and typically the divers just jump over the side. Regulated by his depth. So like I was just telling your friends here that, you know, if he's at 40 feet or less, it's taking 200 minutes.
And there he goes. Not the sort of thing you see every day.
Actually remember me, but that's okay.
I've never seen it.
Your boat's going to be here for a bit, right? For this afternoon. Swing back.
Now, I just love the Lake Union Dreamboat. I know this boat, I've seen it up in Victoria. Let's have a closer look. That is long and lean. This is Patamar, absolutely fantastic boat. Lovely gentleman that owns it too. It's a one-off design, Jack Farrell. A lot of curve to the cabin top. Also has a hard chine, very similar to the Monk new style hull, which MV Geordie is, but it's quite a hard chine, almost 90 degrees at the transom. Really sweet little boat. This boat is almost unchanged from new, with the exception it has a sweet new Yanmar in it that makes it very reliable and quiet. This monk is Duffy. I've been following him on the Wooden Boat Forum, an interesting boat, very similar in some ways to MV Zephyrus, a little bit bigger. It's also interesting in that it has a Chevy 4.3 V6 with a V-drive in the cockpit, under the cockpit sole, which is the same engine that's in my truck. Anyway, the owners aren't aboard. I was hoping I might have a chance to meet them. Maybe I'll catch up with them in a bit.
Oh, wow.
Interesting having a cockpit helm. I kind of like the idea of that. That'd be really fun. Of course, I do have a bridge deck helm. We've always wanted to try a paddleboard, but didn't want to sink too deep. It's just a spot. Okay, so one of the coolest things about the festival is every year in that tent, they have a boat building competition where they have 2.5 days to build a boat and then take it out. And we look forward to that.
Will's got the heavy end.
Get that water in there. Oh, I don't know.
Look at that. Wow, look at that. Hardhat.
Touch this boat, you die.
Well, there we are, 3 boats. We're going to pick 1, 2, and 3. Number 3 is the one in the middle that came in third. But number 2 goes to the gig right here. Not sure whose first place is, but I think we'll give it to the drift boat over here.
Okay then, so that wraps up the 2019 Wooden Boat Festival from Port Townsend, and what an amazing show it was. Super experience here at the Northwest Maritime Centre. I want to show you a little bit about Port Townsend itself. This is a really interesting town. Now, Port Townsend's actually a pretty interesting town. It has a tremendous amount of serious architecture, buildings, and there must have been more at one time because we see some vacant lots. So apparently Port Townsend was meant to be the original western terminus of the railway and a great seaport onto the Pacific. So apparently there was quite a bit of speculation on building some of these buildings, probably banks, insurance companies, shipping companies, etc. And they're all built roughly in the same few years, sometime before the speculation began and before it became apparent that the railway wasn't coming this far. And then what happened, it basically became a Navy port, and after that a Coast Guard port to protect the Sound. But it also has almost nothing of a harbor. Although it has a fair amount of seashore, it's very exposed. All these boats out here are only here because they're here for the festival. If there was any kind of a blow, they'd have to scoot out of here pretty quick. There is the tiny little harbor that was excavated out of a bog. So now, all these beautiful big old buildings, which pretty much remind me of the town I grew up in, Montreal, are used for art stores and bookstores and craft stores, really good restaurants, really good little pubs. It's become a bit of an arts community and obviously a tourist destination, but it doesn't feel too Disneyland-y, really. I mean, that's a hell of a building for a little town. I've only been here a day and a half. I can't really vouch for too many places, but better living through coffee. Absolutely fantastic. Try their cinnamon rolls. And down here, one direction or the other, is Siren's Restaurant, overlooking the water. Very funky, absolutely fantastic food. From here, it's a pretty interesting vantage point to point out that there's a lower town as well as an upper town, which I haven't been to yet. But we're going to go explore. There's a downtown, there's an uptown, and there's an undertown, which I can't explain at all. So if you find yourself in this neck of the woods, I would definitely recommend Wooden Boat Festival or no. Port Townsend is a perfect little seaside town, especially if you like good food, good drink, and a couple little boutique hotels that are really snazzy. I'd love to have tried them out. By the way, that place right there, the best creme brulee I've ever had, coupled with a port flight. Come on, the Bishop Victorian Hotel, who wouldn't want to stay there? I haven't seen anything in this town that's part of a chain, all independent boutique stuff. Love it. Of course, we didn't stay in any boutique Victorian hotels. We parked in the diagonal parking right downtown, 4-hour parking. We've been here for 2.5 days, no ticket. What do you think, Pop? What do you think, Puppy? Yes, Pup. Time to go home. Hey, Griff. Griffy boy. Griffy boy, how are you? There you go, boys. Ready for the road. Now, not that I want to condone and take advantage of municipal parking regulations, but I'm pretty grateful that during the festival they let people get away with parking here. Like, it's a bunch of stealthing. Come on, Sprinter, you're not fooling anybody. There's about 10 more down this strip. And here we are on our final leg on the MV Coho, returning into Victoria Harbour. It is pretty neat that they bring the boat right in here. Love it, love it. Okay, go find the truck. Well, and welcome to Beer of the Week here in Port Townsend at the Wooden Boat Festival. This is kind of a quick little impromptu Beer of the Week because I am in the beer garden and there's lots going on. I also have a fantastic burger waiting for me. So I will introduce to you Port Townsend Brewing Hazy IPA. I've had a couple of these over the weekend and they're absolutely fantastic. As you know, I'm a big fan of these hazy IPAs now, and they've got to be really good. What a fantastic weekend I've had here. Met so many really, really interesting people, and some fantastic boats as well. Anyway, you've seen all that already, and so we'll see you next week. And if you're looking for a t-shirt, this week's word of the week is hazy, as in hazy IPA. So put a comment down below with the word hazy in it, and we'll set you up to win a t-shirt. Cheers! See you next week.